celebrities behaving badly. Nearly a month ago, the news began to filter out from the famed Plaza Hotel. The actor, Charlie Sheen, had been taken to the hospital, leaving behind a trashed hotel suite and a woman later identified as porn star Capri Anderson. Tonight, Anderson tells Ashley Banfield what she says happened that night.
I promise I'll get a quiet prostitute.
He is TV's mega million-dollar man.
All my hooker numbers are in that phone.
The highest paid actor on television, raking in a reported $1.25 million for every episode of his hit sitcom 2.5 Men.
She overplayed her hand this time.
Although these days, he may be better known for his off-camera antics. The latest, a drunken rampage at the Plaza Hotel in New York City that ended with a bloodied Sheen being taken away by ambulance for a psychiatric evaluation. Just days later, though, he was back at work, seemingly unconcerned with what he told Extra was one bad night.
A guy has one bad night and everybody goes insane and panics and, I'm not panicking.
But in this exclusive interview, the woman who was with him that night,
it was like that of being in a horror film,
tells us a very different story.
What was the worst thing you think was going to happen to you?
That I could be very severely beaten up or possibly killed.
What are you suing Charlie for?
Today, that woman, 22-year-old Christina Walsh, went to the police after giving us this exclusive interview over the weekend. Walsh is better known as Capri Anderson, her stage name in the porn industry. She says Charlie Sheen was a fan of hers.
I get the call from my agent offering me an appearance, if you will, at a dinner party. And when I asked who it was, he said, well, it's for Charlie Sheen, and they're having a dinner party. You know, you'd be paid for your time spent there, and would you like to do it? And
paid guest?
A paid guest, yes. I was very much excited about it. It seemed very intriguing.
But she says the night documented in these pictures obtained by TMZ quickly turned ugly.
So as the night progressed, he was definitely becoming more intoxicated. He was cursing a lot. He was making racial slurs, derogatory comments towards women.
What kind of racial slurs?
He was using the N-word a lot in reference to people of color.
Anderson says it was clear that Sheen was too drunk to carry on. She says his friend requested that she help get Sheen up to his room and into his bed.
So we go inside of the room, and then I hear kind of a big snorting sound, and I look over and he says, do you party? And I say, no thanks, politely. And he gets up at one point and he's kind of with his hands around the bottom of my dress, my thighs, and he kisses me. And he starts kind of walking with me against me, so I'm walking backwards at that point towards the bed. And he gets on top of me and he puts his hands around my neck. And at that point I got really very, very nervous. He became more frustrated and his grip got a little bit tighter, and I became more tight in my own body and started to struggle. He then very quickly gets off of me, picks up the lamp, and he throws it across the room and he smashes it. Anything he could pick up, he was trashing the place. And so at that point, I just went as fast as I could into the bathroom and I locked the door, and it was really scary because as I was closing the door, I'm seeing him coming towards me, and he starts slamming on the door, like with his whole body.
Did you want to dial 911?
I did, but I was also scared to call the police on somebody who's as wealthy and as powerful, and who am I? You know, I'm just a girl. What is my word against his?
Anderson is just the latest in a long string of women who've accused Sheen of violent behavior. He was convicted in August of misdemeanor assault against his now estranged wife, Brooke Mueller, after allegations he held a knife to her throat last Christmas. His second wife, Denise Richards, has described a cycle of abuse. In 1990, his then-fiancée, actress Kelly Preston, was accidentally shot in the arm with Sheen's handgun. And back in 1997, Sheen was convicted of battery with serious injuries after assaulting his then-girlfriend, Brittany Ashland. Gloria Allred was her lawyer.
That pattern raises serious red flags and questions about whether or not he, in the future, will continue to inflict violence against women.
Back at the plaza, Capri Anderson says she was so intimidated that she stayed inside the bathroom even after she heard hotel security arrive to question Sheen.
From the moment they come in, there's kind of crashing. Like somebody's fighting, somebody's in a brawl.
The police finally arrived at the plaza, where they restrained Sheen and convinced Anderson to open the bathroom door.
The cop asked me, what was I doing here this evening? If I was paid to be here in the room, do I want to press charges? Did he physically hurt me? And I just tell the officer, look, I just want to go home.
So why come forward now?
It wasn't my choice to come forward. My name was leaked to the press within 48 hours after the event. Everybody was trying to get a story or some sleazy detail when in fact, everybody was looking past the fact that this was all something that was really horrible experience for me.
Yet it took her nearly a month to go to the police and tell them her story.
Most people would say the intervention for something like you're alleging is the police.
In that moment, I just wanted to go home.
But now?
I'm not comfortable answering that question.
It's an important question.
Instead, she deferred that question to her lawyer, Keith Davidson.
She was afraid that she was going to get framed and arrested that night.
She could go to any precinct right now and file that complaint.
She still may.
And in an about-face, 48 hours later, she did.
I am going to fight this tooth and nail and defend Charlie because he hasn't done anything wrong here.
Sheen's lawyer, Yale Galanter, says Capri Anderson is just looking for a payday.
Miss Anderson visited a number of law firms and determined that because of Mr. Sheen's celebrity status, that she could cash in on this. And of course, we're not going to permit her to do that.
But Anderson claims she turned down an offer of hush money that Sheen made in a text message the day after the incident.
He offered me $20,000 in a text message.
To not breathe a word.
Yes.
I certainly haven't seen a text. I know that they were communicating afterwards, but there was certainly never an offer for hush money or anything of the sort.
Tomorrow, Capri Anderson is scheduled to meet with the DA in New York. But late tonight, Charlie Sheen has fired back with a lawsuit of his own, claiming Anderson tried to extort him for $1 million. For Nightline, I'm Ashley Banfield in New York.